The Connection Show. Inspiring. Hope. Health. Healing. Sponsored by Brave Heart Workshops. Live with Jill Reynolds. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like our page. Share it. Subscribe to it now and click the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming shows.
The Connection Show, inspiring hope, health, and healing, sponsored by Brave Heart Workshops, live with Jill Reynolds. And joining me today is Toriano Porter. Welcome to the show, Toriano.
Thanks for having me, Jill. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'd like the audience to know just a little bit about you, so I'm going to read a short bio. Toriano is living the dream as an opinion writer for the Kansas City Star editorial board. He started his journalism career at the North County Journal in suburban St. Louis and has worked at the Independence Examiner and the Lee Summit Journal. Along the way, he's won statewide, regional, and national awards for his reporting. Toriano is also an award-winning author of The Pride of Park Avenue, James Cool, and The 5 People You Meet in the Hood Before You Get to Heaven. So you are a writer.
Yeah, that's what I tell people in the real world when they ask me, what do? I say I write stuff, but I don't say stuff.
So a good storyteller, huh?
Absolutely. And I'm trying to take my storytelling to new heights in 2022. So
awesome.
I was born to tell stories.
Awesome. Well, I really do believe, Toriano, I'm a Christian, and I really believe that I've watched The Chosen, what's been on, and I really truly believe God's shown me that as Jesus walked the face of the earth, he ministered in parables, accounts, and stories for the transformation of people's lives. And so I really believe that story is a way for us to connect by looking at the similarities in each other's lives instead of the differences.
Man, I agree with that. That's powerful, Jill. Thanks for sharing that. I absolutely 100% agree. Like you, I too am a Christian. I believe in the power and spirit of God, Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. Like, there's no doubt about it. As we go on this interview, we'll get to delve into more why I have such a close relationship with my spirituality and God. But absolutely believe in stories, commonality, and how we can all learn from each other. That's the importance of telling stories. I was telling someone today who, people always say, I'm not a writer. I don't like being transparent on social media. And what I told that person is a lifelong friend, a 30-year friend of mine is, even you and everyone else has a story to tell. And if you don't share it, you're being selfish because someone needs to hear that message. You never know who it is. Whether your platform is 5 or 50 or 5,000, someone needs to hear that story.
Yeah, it's transformational. So on this show, Toriano, I believe that the Connection Show is about connecting the dots of our story from our childhood, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and how that story has transformed our own lives, moving from victim to victory into who we are today. And so generally on this show, Toriano, we would go in depth of your story. However, we're shortening your story for the purpose that we'd like to entice the audience to just get a little glimpse of your life so that maybe they'd be willing to come to an event that you're going to be speaking at called Becoming the Best You Can Be, which will be February 11th through the 13th in Overland Park, Kansas, and also a virtual event if you can't make it to Overland Park. So with all of that, I'm going to be quiet and ask you to give us that snapshot of little Toriano, where you grew up, and some instances in your life that led you to who you are today.
Absolutely. I was born in South St. Louis to a pair of high school dropouts. My mom and dad both dropped out of high school. My dad was 18 years old and my mom was 16 when they had my older brother. And 2 years later, I came. And they split up when we were relatively young. So my mom she was a single mom. She raised two boys as best she can. One of the best things that my mom ever did for me was, when I was 9 years old, she got me a library card. It was life-changing. I to this day, I still go to the public library. The second thing she did when I was 11 years old, she enrolled me in a voluntary busing program in St. Louis, where I was bused 27 miles from my home, Louis, to suburban Eureka, Missouri, a school that was pretty much predominantly white. I'm going to say 89% back in 1985. That's just a raw estimate, but it was really, really predominantly white. There was a group of city kids that were bused out there. It was voluntary. Now, my mom sent me and my older brother out there. He's only 2 years older than I. Also met my best friend out there at 11 years old, right? Life changing. I stayed until I graduated high school. So I attended elementary, junior high, and senior high. My older brother dropped out at the age of 16. My best friend dropped out at the age of 16. These are life-changing things because my brother, 19 years old, I was 17, my senior year of high school, he went to the penitentiary for 13 years. My best friend dropped out. He struggled in life to, get on the right track. He died at the age of 33. He was shot and killed in St. Louis. This is anecdotal, but it's also based on statistics. Mm-hmm. And the statistics say if you don't finish high school and you drop out, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to end up dead or in jail or addicted to drugs. And I never wanted that for myself. So that was the life-changing experience for me. And I'm blessed my mom was able to put me in that position. I also was a 3-sport athlete. I received a full scholarship to the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg to play football as a freshman. I lost that scholarship. My sophomore year, I went back to school, took out student loans. I still didn't go to class. I flunked out of school.
And it's so funny that you're sharing that, Toriano, is I think I never actually myself went to college for completion. I took college courses along my career, but never went to college. But my son did, and I came to realize that in the institution of college, which I think is not, I don't believe it's what it's cracked up to be. I mean, I just think it's just a piece of paper, to be honest with you. That's my opinion. But the institution of college, 98% of your grade is just showing up. And so what I shared with my son when he went off to college, and I didn't think he'd make it past his freshman year. I'm just being honest with you. He did. He graduated. But what I did for him as a mom is I said, whatever you do, don't take any classes that start before 12 noon. Because you're going off to college. I know you're going to party, and 98% of your grade is just showing up. So take most of your classes in the afternoon or the early evenings, because if you stay out till 3 in the morning, you can sleep in. And he did, and he graduated.
And that's great. That's great advice. I was a first generation college student. My mom gave me $20 and said, good luck. So with that being said, you are absolutely correct. Half the battle is showing up. So what happened with me, my freshman year of college, is I was a little frustrated with the football coaches because they redshirted me, which means I could practice every single day, but I couldn't play in the games. I'm a competitor, I'm an athlete. I was frustrated. And so what I did was I decided to show those coaches, right? I'm not going to go to class as a protest. Silly me. Lost that scholarship. I was ineligible my sophomore year. So again, I did go back to school. I took out student loans, but I still didn't go to class, right? So I flunked out. I was at home for a year from age 20 to 21. I was at home for a year. Me and my buddy, my best friend, who I said died at 33.
I would have kicked your butt out. 18, you're a man. You're not coming home again.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I didn't go back to mom's house. I went to grandma's house.
I still would have kicked your butt out.
No, that's one thing about Granny. When I moved in with my grandma, her brother was still there. He was 50 plus. My uncle was still there. He was 30, 40 plus. And my other uncle was still there. And my aunt. So,
my gosh. Miss Codependent, huh?
Yeah. So with that being said, I spent the year floundering, 20 to 21, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. My best friend was like, you need to go back to Warrensburg, make something of your life. So I went back in the summer of 95. I started everything over. Ended up being an undergrad for 7.5 years.
But you did it.
I will say this. I walked across the stage, and the only time in the 7.5 years that I was in college, that was the only time my mom came to visit. It's all love, though. It's all love. So that's kind of my, little snippet of a little bit about me. Now, there's a lot that came before and after that, but that's kind of the basis of who I am. I never wanted to be one of those guys where who's who and where are they now. I never want to be one of those guys who failed and ended up dead or in drugs. I didn't know about Google and the internet at the time, but I always said if someone from high school or college wondered about me, they were going to find out about me, right? And so I just took all those classes over. My major was journalism. My minor was creative writing. I knew at 18 that I wanted to be a newspaper reporter, and I knew that I wanted to write books. My ultimate goal was to go to the NFL. I wanted to play pro ball. But I said to myself, if I don't make it to pro ball, I can always go to Hollywood and be a movie star or director like Spike Lee. If I don't make Hollywood, I could always be a newspaper reporter. So here I am in Kansas City, Missouri, being a newspaper reporter.
And you're happy as a lark.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm so happy. Like, I'm living the dream. Every single day I get to do exactly what I love to do, and that's priceless.
So after college then, Toriano, what evolved then for you as far as career? So you're 29-ish when
I left. I started at 18. So when I walked across the stage, I would have been about 24.
24. Okay.
I was 24, yeah. And so 24, 25, something like that, yeah. So I was born in 74. I walked in December of 99. So yeah, I was about 25. I turned 26 the following year. So anyway, my first job out of college, I was assistant manager at a fashion store. I didn't even work in the industry. There's a fashion store in Kansas City, Missouri. Pearl Penner's Man of Fashion is the name. Well, back in 99, 2000, they expanded to 27 states. They had 32 stores in 27 states, and they were looking for young, pretty cool guys, educated guys like myself to be manager, assistant managers. So they put me in assistant manager program. I did that in KC for a few months. Then they moved me out to the Bay Area of California. I was in Richmond, California, at a mall selling clothes. I loved it. Nice salary. They moved all of my stuff out there. I was getting 50% off clothes. I was cool. I was good. But I got homesick. The Rams had just won the Super Bowl. The rapper Nelly had just went platinum. And I wanted to be a part of that. And I wasn't writing. So I went home. In December of, I would say it would have been December of 2000. 2 months later, February of 2001, I got my first writing job in St. Louis, the North County Journal. I was fired within 6 months.
Yeah, but you got to have those blows to get up again.
Yeah, 27 years old, fresh back from Cali, I was feeling myself. There was no humbleness about me. I thought I was hot stuff. My editor asked me to cover a kayaking event on a Saturday morning at like 9 o'clock, right? And like you said, about 18, 19-year-olds, I was 27. Friday night, I went out, I partied, stayed up to the wee hours of the morning, like 3 or 4, overslept that Saturday, missed that assignment, right? So that Sunday, the rapper Nelly was throwing what you would call a celebrity basketball game at Washington University in St. Louis. I used my press pass to get in. I covered that event. I wrote about it. I turned that in on a Monday. On Tuesday, I was fired.
Because you missed the event on Saturday. Oh my goodness. So then you get fired from there, and then you moved your head, and what happened next then after?
It didn't work like that. Between the year 2001 and 2007, there was a 6-year stretch where I did not have a full-time writing job. I was freelancing, sometimes for 10 cents a word, sometimes for free. I was just trying to build my portfolio, working odd jobs at the time. I'm talking about selling cell phones, selling women's shoes, selling gas at my uncle's gas station, anything to take care of my son, take care of my family, and keep the lights on. But I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you got to do what you got to do, and
Absolutely.
sometimes it takes, and I hate to say this because we hope that it's not for everyone, but sometimes it takes a lifelong before you get to the place of serenity of what it is you really wanted to do, and then you look back. I mean, it took me years before I looked back and said, I love planning events, and I went back to school. I'm going to be 68 soon. I went back to school and got my certification in meeting and event planning, and just loved it.
No
So
doubt.
sometimes it takes you a long time to settle down, find your way, and we do what we have to do to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that being said, I didn't realize what was happening at the time. But now that I'm more older and more mature, I look back on it. I had faith. I knew what I wanted to do. And I know God knew my heart. I didn't know about the phrase trust the process, but that's what I was doing. I put faith in God and I trusted the process. And although I was mentally, I was shot, man. I had so many ideas as a writer floating through my head, and I couldn't get it out, that I started having issues. Like I felt like I was losing my mind.
Mhm.
And that feeling of anxiety, anxiousness never changed until I got back into the writing game full time in 2007. But I never gave up on the dream. I never gave up on the hope. And here's another thing, like you said, sometimes it takes years. I was 18 years old when I told myself one of my goals is to work for a major daily newspaper. Well, I went North County Journal, Freelance, Independence Examiner, Lee Summit Journal. These are all community newspapers. I did not get hired at the Kansas City Star until I was 42 years old. 24 years worth of grind to achieve a dream. And so I've been with the Star since 2016. I started off on the breaking news desk. I did such a great job with that. They hired me to be on the editorial board, and that rarely happens. You rarely go from an entry-level position to the editorial board at a major newspaper. That just rarely happens.
What kind of editorials do you write on that? Do you have a specific category that you're involved in?
Basically, my job is to hold public officials accountable for their BS and misdeeds. to be a steward for taxpayer dollars. As well.
I'm just cracking up laughing. You could write for 50 years on that topic.
There's never a shortage of things to write about. Ever.
Politicians BS. That's a great line.
No doubt. And also, I provide a voice to the voiceless. People who are not heard. People
Well,
who feel unappreciated.
I hope your editorials are not part of the cancel culture, and that you'll give a story to a story and not cancel out the other stories.
Right. And people who don't agree with my editorials or my columns, they would like to cancel me. But my editor, she approves, so I'm good.
That's good. Well, I had the privilege, Toriano, to go to a workshop with Dan Allender, who owns the Seattle School of Theology in Seattle, Washington. And he travels around the country, and he does story workshops, teaching people how to share story. And the one thing Dan taught us, and I loved it, and it's so profound, is he said it's so imperative when sharing story to learn how to come out of the helicopter and land your plane. And by that, he meant so many times if people tell story, they break it down into such a small little piece that they don't go into detail. And so it's almost like going to a Tupperware party instead of going into depth. And so he shared that everyone should take one T in their life and in 1,000 words descriptively write about that T, and that T represents trauma. And so we all have had trauma in our lives, and so he said if you have to, start with a small T till you can work up to a large T. And so he explained the small T might be you were married for 20 years, you went through a divorce, and now it's your first Christmas alone. So the big T might be the trauma of the divorce, but the small T is you're alone for the first time with no family, no spouse, no kids. And so you write descriptively what that feels like, where you're sitting. Are you sitting in front of a fireplace? Are you curled up in your bed? And so you go into the description of that and you write it in 1,000 words, and the story then comes to life.
Oh man, I love that. Honestly, I love that. There's a prompt I like to use when I blog. My blog is available on www.torianoporter.com. But a prompt I like to use is a photo. Old photos, current photos, whatever the mood is. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Here's 1,000 words. I'm going to use that to go deeper than I normally do. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that, because you're right. Sometimes we forget about the small T. We just go right to the big T.
And sometimes we need to start at the small T so that the burdens can be released, so we can get further into the large T and go more descriptively, so we don't sound like, and I'll give just a really good example. For us who have been, and I was one, date raped. I used to tell people, at 14 I was date raped. Well, that was my story.
Nobody knows what that.
You just think, she was date raped. And so then I went ahead and wrote my 1,000 words. Oh my gosh, Toriano, for the first time after years of sharing that I had been date raped, I just bawled like a baby because I got to the description of it. And it's so impactful.
Man, with that being said, right? That's been my struggle as a writer. My goal is to write a memoir as a single father. For your readers or your listeners or your viewers, I lost a child in 2009 to gun violence. Toriano Porter II was shot and killed in North St. Louis. He was 16 years old. He's my firstborn child. I was 23 years old. I was 19 when he was born. I was 23 when I got him full time, and I moved him with me to the college town I was in. This was my guy. This was my mini-me, and we had a close relationship, but it kind of wavered when he was 12 or 13, and we weren't as close. But I want to write about what I've learned as a parent from dealing with that. But the reason why I haven't is because I have to revisit those emotions and those traumas. And I don't want to. I don't want to. At this moment, I don't want to, because I know it's going to break me down. And I'm not sure how I can pull myself up, even though he's been gone.
Well, but when you write, you write to heal. And so writing, when you write and you do it descriptively, it heals your soul.
It does.
And so
I know that. I know that's on the other side.
Yeah.
But it's the process of going through
I know. And I've been told for 20 years to write my book. And I've got I've got like 6 chapters done, and it's like just trying to finish it. It's it's so hard to finish it. So let's do this. Let's show the audience your bio here, and again, Toriano's website is torianoporter.com, and then I want to show the flyer of the conference that Toriano is going to be at. It's called Becoming the Best You Can Be, Overcoming Challenges in 2022, and it's February 11th through the 13th at the Sheridan Convention Center in Overland Park, Kansas. Now, you can still get tickets only up to February the 8th. So for the live conference, you can get virtual up to February the 10th. So go online today to comechangeyourlife.com. This will be on the podcast, so you'll be able to see this. And register now, because we just got wind today, Toriano. It's not even on the website yet. That Brenda Ringwood got a phone call and got a brand new speaker on the agenda, Dr. Patch Adams.
Wow.
Remember Patch Adams from Robin Williams?
The movie, yes.
Dr. Patch Adams is going to speak.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
yes.
amazing. I was already honored to be a part. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So that's just got added. I just got a phone call about half an hour before you came on. So, because he's still trying to build a hospital, the free hospital that he's wanting to build. Yeah.
Really?
So he's going to be there because he really believes that we should become the best we can be, and the same as you. So, Toriano, when you got the when Brenda Ringwood, who's the person handling, or this is her event, when she invited you to be on the platform, what led you to say yes to this platform?
Well, to tell you the truth, I had never met Brenda a day in my life. I don't even know how she found me. She reached out. And at that point, I think COVID had just started and all these things were going on. I was working from home. I had a couple of personal issues going on. I really didn't give it much thought. Like, okay, whatever. If you say it's a speaking engagement, all right, I'll do it. She found me on LinkedIn. And I just was like, I'll do it. Because I like to talk. I like to speak. I'm a storyteller. I had no idea what it was about, what it entailed. I just said, okay. And then I met Brenda for coffee, and everything changed. I knew she was real. I knew it wasn't a scam or a spam or a catfish or whatever they call it. And when we talked, we realized that we had some things in common. Trauma and overcoming trauma to be the best we can be. And so once we met face to face, I was sold. Becoming the best you can be. I resonate with that all day long because I've been fighting since I was 19 to 20 to become the best version of myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. And we really look forward to meeting you in person. The beauty of coming to this event in person is you get to sit with, connect with the speakers in real time, in real life. We're going to be doing breakouts with speakers. We are going to be in a very intimate environment of connection. And we're going to have a black tie event on Saturday night and dancing. And then for those of us who want to stay over on Sunday, we're going to connect for the Super Bowl party on Sunday. And who knows, there could be that miraculous chance that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
Right. And
we just don't know. And the LA Rams right now, they're out, right? They're
no. They still in it. They're still in it. They play San Francisco for the right to go to the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs play Cincinnati. So here's the thing. I was born and raised in St. Louis. I've been in Kansas City for the last 15 years. I was a St. Louis football Cardinal fan until they moved to Arizona. I do not root for the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, when the Rams came to St. Louis in 1995, I was a diehard St. Louis Rams fan, including the greatest show on turf that won a Super Bowl in '99. But I was a Rams fan.
But then they left you.
And there it is. I don't root for the LA Rams. But I don't jump on bandwagons either. So I'm not a Chiefs fan. But what I am is a football fan. And to be here in this city and witness the greatness that's going on is a pleasure for me, right? So here's the thing. If the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, I'm going to have to leave you guys on Sunday morning. I'm sorry. I'll be in LA.
You'll be, because the game's going to be in LA?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I'll be here for the conference Friday and Saturday. I'll do a black tie.
But if they win the playoff, the game's in LA, so you got to hop over there and do your press stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
Well, that's a no-brainer.
Right. So I get the best of both worlds.
All right. Well, I get it. We will be in Kansas City, rooting, I guess, for and I happen to be a Chicago Bears fan because I'm from Chicago, but I mean, the Bears.
I will say this: Chicago is one of my favorite cities. I've been to a baseball game at Wrigley Field. Have never been to a football game at Soldier Field. That's on my bucket list.
Oh,
Absolutely.
we'll talk more about that offline. So everyone, join us at the Becoming the Best You Can Be. Do not miss this. You can get a ticket for only $49 to watch it virtually. No excuses. The in-person event is only $399. It includes the conference, the black tie event, and your meals and connecting with the speakers. So, be there or be square.
I love it.
Thanks, Toriano, for jumping on, and thanks, you guys. We'll see you February 11th through the 13th. We'll celebrate Valentine's Day. We'll celebrate my 68th birthday, which is February 12th, and the Super Bowl. So thanks a lot, Toriano.
Have a great one.